So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Michael Canodal. I'm the managing broker here at Graystone Real Estate. We are welcome to have you here today for our presentation, which is entitled "To Roof or Not to Roof." So, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know we do have some guests outside of Graystone that's here, so thank you for joining us. We have our presenter today, Pierre Robertson, and he's one of the owners of PSLD Enterprises. It's roofing and solar company. He's going to give us different techniques and strategies with roof situation. Keep in mind, today we're only educating. We're not selling anything. Many of you guys have dealt with several situations when it comes to the roof. So without any further delay, I'm going to turn it over to our host today, Pierre Robertson. So go ahead and take it away.
Perfect. Good evening, everybody. Thank you all for joining us. Let's get into it. Before we get to the roof, let me turn my volume down. Hold on. All right. So before we get into the roof topics, I want to share a little bit about myself, a little personal things about myself, so you can know who you're dealing with. So let me move on. All right, so first off, this is myself and my lovely wife. Back when we went skydiving a long time ago. If you haven't been skydiving, I highly suggest that you go. These are my incredible kids. Penelope is 3 years old. Missouri is 1 year old. So that's my family life. Before I was in roofing, I was actually a teacher. So I'm excited to be back in the teaching role today to educate everybody about what we have going on in regards to the roofs. Did 3rd grade, did 11th grade, a little bit of everything. So that's the background on me. But let's get into the roofing. And yes, so first off, we'll talk about the necessary criteria to decide if you need a replacement. Here we have 3 different tips for you. And the first one is to check for shingle granular loss. So that is fancy roofer terms for checking to make sure that the shingle, which is the outermost section of the roof, doesn't have a lot of granules or small little beads, copper beads that have gone off the roof. So that's the first type of thing that you can do, like visually check and see. On any older roof, there's going to be granular loss, but you just need to make sure it's not excessive. The next thing to do would be to check for irregularities in the roof surface. So if you see any humps or depressions or anything like that, that's definitely an early indicator that you need to check and kind of make sure that area is fine. That is the second thing. Then the last thing would be to check for stains inside the home interior. So any type of leaks or issues that start on the exterior of the home and find its way to the interior of the home via a stain on the ceiling is definitely an indicator letting you know that something is probably have some sort of issue going on with your roof or above that ceiling area. So up next, we'll talk about steps you can take to preserve the life of your roof. Got a couple of them for you. So, and these are more like preventative maintenance type things, proactive. So first thing you can do is trim any long trees hanging over your roof. Pretty straightforward, but you don't want anything to be impacting your roof outside of the Florida sun. So you want to trim those trees back, especially if it looks like this picture. But even if the tree is high above it, its constant leaves falling allows a place for when the leaves are there, water can get there and that can create a bigger problem. So any type of trees you have hanging over a roof, you want to get those trimmed back. Clean your gutters regularly. That's another thing that is a preventative maintenance type thing. Again, debris and leaves and things can fall into your gutters, and water that from the rain can fall into the gutters and push back up against your roof, and give you large issues to deal with down the road. So definitely want to make sure those gutters are cleaned regularly. And then lastly is to clear excess debris from the roof. So again, any type of trees, any type of, like in this picture, there's a lot of leaves and things like that are just hanging around. You don't want to have those sitting up there because again, water or any type of elements can get with that, and then make it make it into a bigger issue than it is. So you want to regularly clean that type of area. And then, so up next, how to ensure a bad roof doesn't ruin a deal. We've come across this a lot with real estate investors, and the main thing we want to do in regards to that is get a roof under contract. So getting a roof under contract, even if the roof is not completed, and getting that insured will will ensure that that deal goes through, because it is showing that everything is done, everything is on the way to being finished. So it's not an issue when it comes down to the closing. And of course, relationship is the name of the game. Like Michael said at the beginning, a lot of you all in here are investors, realtors, just involved in the real estate game in general. You all know that relationships are very important. In regards to, we go back, in regards to ensuring a bad roof on a deal, getting the roof contract insured is very important, but also having a relationship with a really good home inspector who can kind of let you know what the roof, the lifespan is looking like, and things like that, as well as an insurance provider, someone who can get that old roof get it insured for 30 days, 50 days, however long you need in order to get that replacement if it's that bad. That will help out a lot, of course. Next, I have two people who I've used. These are who I use and trust. But I'm always open to creating, always open and looking forward to creating new relationships. So if you all have any, please send them in the chat, or send them to Michael or to the company directly. I'd love to connect with them. And that's it. Now, first off, thank you all for listening to our presentation. But if anybody has questions, would love to answer them. Again, I used to be a teacher, so I enjoy breaking things that are difficult to understand, breaking it down into bite-sized pieces that make sense. So if anybody has any questions, we'd be happy to answer.
Okay, we do have a couple of questions for you, Pierre. The first one that came in is it possible for someone to get a roof under contract before closing and actually pay for that at closing? Do they have to pay up front, or is it possible for them to get it on the contract and then that's part of the closing costs?
For sure. Yes, so that is an option, and that's a very, I'd say, a really good option, because it allows that the roof to be done, so no one is worrying about the roof and its age and all that kind of stuff, but then not paying until closing. So that is an option that is provided. So yeah, that's a very good way to save a deal as well.
Okay, we have a question from Jay Michaelick.
Hey, Pierre, first of all, thank you so much for the presentation. Being that Graystone has multiple departments, I know that our acquisition side of the business, oftentimes it'd be nice if they had some sort of pointer into determining the life that's left on a roof. Is there any visuals that can help them kind of guide, yeah, this one's got 5 years left or about 2 years left? Is there anything you could give us as like some pointers visually to help determine the life on a roof to see if it's going to be required for the deal?
For sure. So the first thing that comes to mind when you ask that is always, before you even get to the roof, is you can check online. So check the permit status, and then the permits, when it always shows kind of like a roof permit was opened in 95 or opened in whatever year. So if you can look at that before you even get to the home, that can give you kind of an age range for the roof. But once you get there, kind of a couple of things that I mentioned in the slides, but just looking for, I'd say, irregularities. So any type of depressions or anything like that in your roof, any type of granular loss, like, so if it's really shining in the sun and it's like a bright shine, then that's the fiberglass mat underneath the shingles that's beginning to show, and you don't want that to show. So things like that. Again, trees, if they're hanging around, that can speed up the life of a roof and make it last, make it have a shorter life. So you don't want that. So yeah, I'd say different things like that, that kind of that you'll see in person, but also be sure to check the county websites and see when the last permits were pulled in regards to roofs, and that can give you a more specific age range as well.
All right, thank you so much.
Okay, Pierre, we did have a question. We see that some roofing companies or contractors, they use a certain coating on roofs to extend the life of the roof. So could you tell us a little bit more about that? Does your company do that, or would you recommend that to save it and give it a couple more years?
Right. So I've heard of that. We don't currently offer that. I will say that we were approached just at the end of last week by a company type like that. So I will say that I do know that it exists, and I like to believe that it's useful. But I don't know a lot of information in regards to, like, we've never done it. We don't have any partners who do that. But I do know that it exists, and yeah, it definitely kind of gets you extends that roof life a little bit. So it's definitely useful, I'd say.
All right. Do we have any other questions about the roof? Any other questions? We have a couple people here. We do have one from Viral Doshi. Go ahead, Viral. Unmute, please.
Yes. Hello, Pierre. How are you? Thank you for sharing the information. My question is about solar, because Michael said that you also do solar.
Sure.
How are you doing solar, Pierre, in a way where the integrity of the roof structure does not get compromised? Is there something that, when you're installing solar on the roof, is the insurance policy premium on roofs going up because of that? And what kind of insurance do we have to get so that we can offset the additional cost and account of it?
Great question. So let me turn this one down. I heard a lot of questions, so I'll go through each one that I heard. How are we installing the solar so that it doesn't compromise the integrity of the roof? I'll answer that first. So I think the good thing about us being a roofing and solar company is that everything is under the same warranty. So it's not two different people and everybody pointing at the other person. We're installing it all together. So any type of workmanship issue, if there ever is one, then it's the same type of company. So with our clients who have done roofing and solar with us, we always tell them, if you have any type of issue, call this one number. We'll come out, check it out. We'll see, hey, this is a roofing issue, this is a solar issue, and then it's able to be taken care of under the same umbrella and the same warranty. Next question that I heard was in regards to insurance. So again, that kind of goes back to my slides, where it's ensuring that you have a good relationship with an insurance agent. So with our insurance agent, they do require, and I don't want to get like too deep into solar or roofing or get too deep into it, but for a tier 1 system, which is what most residential homes have, you need to have an umbrella coverage, excuse me. That umbrella coverage runs you about an extra $500 per year. So it's not a very expensive type of thing. Yes, so that's the insurance coverage requirement in regards to solar, adding it to your roof. Thank you for the question. Really good question.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for everyone. Do we have any other questions for Pierre? We want to thank you so much for this presentation. We do have, let's see. Viral, did you have another question?
I got another one. It's about pricing, Pierre. I'm sorry I'm dominating with too many questions, but these are questions which are popping in my mind right now.
Please.
There's questions about pricing on two different things. One is, if we are going with a shingle roof, what is the price difference approximately that we should be looking at if we were to go for a 3-tab roof versus an architectural shingle? This is the first question. The second question is, on a pricing basis, because many people on this call are investors themselves, if we were to get a roofing company to do a quote for us, what kind of pricing should we be looking at on a per square basis so that we can say that this is an efficient quote or not? That's the second one. And the last one is on solar, what kind of pricing should we be looking at on a per unit basis so that we know we're getting good value?
Got it. I'm writing these down so I don't forget. I got the last two. Can you repeat to me the first one, please?
Yes. The first one was, what is the pricing difference between 3-tab and architectural shingle, and what do you recommend?
Got it. Okay. Perfect. So yeah, I'll start with that one. Pricing difference. So in regards to 3-tab and in regards to 3D or architectural shingles, the pricing difference these days is not a lot. So the roof, the materials, they go by per square count, because I believe you're familiar with it. You mentioned that. And it's about a $10 difference per square for architectural versus 3-tab. I mean, if a normal house is 30, I'm gonna give you more kind of concrete numbers. But normal house is 30 square, $10. Yeah, it's about 10 times 30. Make sure my math is right. Yeah, $300 difference. So with that $300 that you would save to get a 3-tab roof, I would highly suggest against it. 3-tab was one of the first types of first styles of roofing that was created, and with anything being the first, that they do make better things. So architectural shingles are a lot better. The 3-tab, it was really flat, so it has a lot of different areas for to be susceptible to being compromised, and with rain or with any type of debris. It's not as strong as an architectural shingle, which is raised in a lot of different areas and has a lot of protection against the elements. So I wouldn't suggest getting any type of 3-tab, especially if you're getting a new roof. I wouldn't suggest getting new 3-tab shingles, because it's like getting the new old thing, like a new VHS player or something like that. It's cool and it's a little bit cheaper, but it's not going to be a great idea in the long run, because just like a VHS player, I'm sure at some point it's going to break down, and it'll be a lot sooner than that DVD or Blu-ray type of player. So that's my thoughts on that. Definitely architectural over 3-tab. So per square, I will say that is a great question, but it's a difficult one to answer, because every 3 months, I'd say every 4 months, we're having cost increases. Our roofing supply stores are saying, hey, we're going up 10%. Hey, we're going up 15%. So even today, in 2023, a roof that you would buy last year, the same exact roof, if you were to buy it today versus last year, it's going to be 25% higher. And that's just kind of with the times, almost in line with inflation and kind of everything going on. It's going to be higher if you push it into the future. So I can give you kind of pricing for today, but again, next year it'll be a lot different. But for today, I think a fair per square price would have you somewhere around, and then that's another thing too. So it varies as well due to the areas that you're in. So if you're in Tampa, if you're in Jacksonville, if you're in Miami, it's going to be higher depending on kind of the type of area that you're in, and area as well as location in regards to how close you are to water. So many different variables that it's very hard to pinpoint an exact number. But I hate when people don't answer a question, that they give that answer as the question. So I'll give you a number. I'd say if you can be around, and this is just with architectural shingle. If today, what is this, the 3rd of August, a good pricing would be to be around about $500, $515 per square for a shingle roof. So take that to the bank, deposit today, but not next week, not any months after this. Last question was a per unit in regards to solar. Same thing, because there's so many different variances, so many different kind of parts in that. But what I've seen, relating it back to roofing, is that it's usually about $1,000 per square. And again, I'm sure that'll go up as time goes, but around $1,000 per square is usually a good base number to be at.
I appreciate that, Pierre. If nobody else has any other question, Michael, I'm going to ask a question which is potentially useful for Pierre and everybody else on the call.
For sure.
It is the last question about My Safe Florida Home. Are you an approved vendor with them, and is your experience meaningful for us as realtors to recommend our customers to use the My Safe Florida Home, or do you think it's not a good program?
Great question. So yes, My Safe Florida Home, for anyone who doesn't or isn't familiar, it is a government-backed program that volume is too high. It's a government-backed program that was put into place to, as it says, create safer Florida homes. So they have government money that they put towards this, and I wouldn't say every, but many homes are able to be or eligible for grants. Eligible for grants up to $10,000. So that can go towards your roof. That can go towards anything to make your home stronger. I know it's like windows, doors, just anything to make your home stronger. So yes, for when we are an approved vendor with them. Two, yes, I'd recommend it. I would recommend it to a specific type of homeowner or a specific type of home, and that would be for a homeowner or a property that doesn't need immediate attention. And immediate meaning like within a week, within a month. Only because the process, from what I'm told from our clients who have gone through that, can be a little bit long. Even this August, we had somebody reach out that is finally approved, but they said they applied back in April or something like that. So I want to say, and I don't work for My Safe Florida Home, so don't quote me, but I want to say that the process works to where you give them a call, and they send an inspector out to you, and they kind of verify what your home looks like, what they think you should upgrade, et cetera, et cetera. And then you're able to go and choose your contractor and get it done. But just getting that initial inspection, I'm told, is 4 to 6 to 8 weeks out type of thing. So if you're needing help soon, then I wouldn't suggest it. But if you have some time, if your roof is towards the end of its life, but you got a little bit of time, then I would highly suggest it. Make use of those government funds. And yeah, we've had a lot of successful stories, a lot of successful projects that have been completed, and then use those funds. So very, very great question for sure.
Thank you.
Okay, great questions, Dural. Thank you for that. Do we have any other questions? We have a couple of new people that came in. Here's one. So when choosing a roofing company, because there's thousands out there now, what should we be looking for from a consumer standpoint? What separates a roofing company from being good, bad, best? I mean, what are we looking for?
The first thing is to make sure that the company is licensed. In Florida specifically, unlike neighboring states such as Georgia, and I know Texas is not neighboring, but it's close enough. Texas and Georgia specifically, they don't require licenses to be a roofing contractor or be a roofing company. So literally anybody can get a business license, get an LLC, and they can go do your roof in those states. In Florida, because our weather is so it's so unpredictable at times. They put in, I'm not sure what year it was, but a long time ago that they put in, you had to go through rigorous testing and rigorous had to show a lot of knowledge in regards to getting a roofing license. So that is the first thing I would say that a lot of people are tricked by or duped by. Somebody comes in, hey, I have a low price, ask to see their license, ask to confirm their license number, and not only confirm their license number, but confirm that it's active. Some people get licenses, just like licenses with anything else. It was active for some time, and it's not. So that is the biggest thing. Yeah, we get that a lot. Next thing will be to see if they're certified by the material manufacturer that they're using. So with us, we use Owens Corning and JAF, and we're certified by those companies to say that, hey, we we believe in this company, we back them to where they have our stamp of approval. So that's another thing that can kind of separate one company from another. And then the last thing I would say would be just to go with your gut, go with how you feel about whomever you're talking to, whoever the sales guy is, or whoever the project manager is, whoever you're in contact with. Go with your gut. If you get a good feeling, then go with it. But if you don't get a good feeling, then kind of keep searching until you do. I feel like a lot of people try to or can make roofing very complicated, but at the end of the day, we're all kind of doing the same things. And then as far as we're taking everything up to the wood, adding underlayment, adding shingles. Like it's a pretty streamlined process. So I would say, yeah, definitely go with your gut. And even more back into the presentation would be relationships. Build relationships with these companies, especially if you're an investor or a realtor versus a homeowner who buys one roof, maybe two roofs in their lifetime. As an investor, you'll be doing a lot of deals with roofers. You're doing a lot of deals with home services people. So I would say definitely invest in a relationship with a partner like a roofing contractor because they'll continue to show their value over a long time, just like a plumber or any type of thing that involves home services that you can do.
Okay, thank you for that. So before we end our session today, just wanted to see if anyone had any other questions. Thank you for all this valuable information today, Pierre. Oh, we do have one more. Jay Michael, please come off the mute and ask your question.
All right. So I actually don't have any questions. I just wanted to thank Pierre and Michael for setting this up. And just because I know this will go on our YouTube educational channel, I wanted to kind of remind everyone that this video is brought by Graystone Investment Group and Graystone Real Estate. And you can find us on GraystoneIG.com or call us at 813-449-4323. And again, I just want to thank Pierre for taking his time to educate us and help us make better decisions. And thank Michael for setting this whole thing up.
Awesome. We have one more question. Janet, go ahead and come off the mute and ask that question. Still
Okay,
there,
sorry
Janet?
about that. Yeah, I'm here.
There she is. Okay.
This is a very simple question. I'm very new. But how long is the warranty usually on a brand new roof?
Perfect. Yes. So that's another thing to consider when you're dealing with a different roofing company. I can't speak to anybody else's warranty. I do know that they're as low as 5 years, and they can go as far as that. Our standard warranty for any roof that we do is 12 years. So so we have 12-year standard warranties that are transferable one time as well. So our standard warranty is 12 years.
Great, thank you.
Quick question. So does that warranty get voided if you put on solar? And I'm sorry if you covered that already.
No, we haven't covered that. So that depends. Kind of like I mentioned before, if you're dealing with a company who does roofing and solar, then the warranty wouldn't get voided because it's the same company. But as you can imagine, if you're having two different companies, then I'm sure if something goes wrong, you might have both companies pointing at each other where no, he did it, she did it, type of thing. So even if it's not us, I would highly suggest if you're going to do solar to do with a company that does roofing and solar, just so that it's one call that you make if anything goes wrong and they're able to take care of it.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you for your time today.
For sure.
Okay. We have one other question from Jorge Vasquez.
Pierre, thank you for putting this meeting together, this training together. It's been awesome. I don't know why I'm upside down. Some of you want to see me up. There you go. Some of you want to see me upside down, I think. But my question is, isn't there an opportunity for the agents to make a referral fee? Can you talk about that a little bit?
For sure. So let me turn it down. Yeah, so for sure. We have a referral program, which is very simple. It's any roof that basically we're able to connect the dots with our company to whomever is in need of the roof. You can get up to $500 per closed deal type of thing. So at the end of the roof, once everything is done and final payment's been complete, then you get a check for up to $500. I, I'm going to answer the question. I think some people may be asking. I say up to $500. I want to say I look into the fine print, but I want to say it's based on the cost of the roof. So if it's under 10 grand, I want to say it's $250, and if it's over 10 grand, it's $500. So yeah, up to $500 per closed deal for any type of roof that we complete, and it's a great program. We like it a lot because not only do we do the roofs, but we're able to say thank you to people who make the introduction. So yeah, very great thing that we do.
That's amazing. Anything, and sometimes a lot of our agents will use it for their clients anyways. It's just another perk because the agents do get a pretty handsome commission, but it's another perk where they can utilize that to pay for an appraisal or pay for other stuff. So
Sure.
I really appreciate that. Thank you for the opportunity. We always bring in our agents opportunities to make money. And it's all about being able to, maximize every opportunity that comes in front of the agent, whether it's lending, roofing now,
Yeah.
property management. You imagine how many commissions we could get, and at the same time do right by the client with somebody that we trust.
For sure.
'Cause we know where to find you now.
For sure. Sure, yeah.
And to piggyback on the referral, is it the same thing for solar as well if we have a solar client, or is that a different referral?
Correct. So, correct. Yes, same type of thing. I don't know the exact numbers in regard, but it's up to $500, and the price cuts off at whatever the price is. I don't know off the top of my head, but yeah, same type of thing. Basically, if it's a smaller system, it's $250. If it's a larger system, then it's $500.
Okay. All right. Do we have any other questions before we conclude for the evening? Anyone? I just want to thank you again, Pierre, for supplying this great information. And I want to remind everyone, if you have other questions or any additional comments, you can meet us this month, August 18th at 7 o'clock. Pierre's company, PSLD, is going to be sponsoring our next social for Graystone Investment Group. So you can all meet us in one place. We're going to have food, drinks, and we're going to network. And that's going to be sponsored by PSLD Enterprises at Aqua. So whether you're in Graystone Investment Group or you're one of our visitors, you are welcome to attend. So we hope to see you there. So if there's no other questions, we want to just say thank you again, Pierre. We want to thank all the agents, all our visitors, all our investors for coming tonight. And our next training is going to be next week. We're going to go back into our culture of accountability. So stay tuned for that for more details. And thank you again for coming, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.